In the meantime, let's go back to New York City. Want to get some updates on the case that is unfolding there regarding Sean Diddy Combs.
Man, I ain't gonna lie.
Y'all, the chaos surrounding Sean Diddy Combs right now is absolutely mind-blowing. Can you believe it? The man who once stood at the top of the music world as this untouchable mogul is now at the center of what might be the biggest scandal Hollywood has ever seen. And just when you think you've heard it all, honey, more shocking details keep dropping. What's Diddy really being accused of, and how far will he go to save his empire? Let's dive into this mess that's got all of Hollywood shaking.
News tonight, Sean Diddy Combs has been arrested in a Manhattan hotel this evening after a grand jury indicted the music mogul. His attorney tells CNN that he is currently being processed. The charges are unclear as of...
Now picture this scene. It's giving prison drama realness. A multi-millionaire trapped in a cold, windowless cell, frantically scribbling notes on whatever scraps of paper he can find. That's allegedly what Diddy's been reduced to while awaiting trial. And child, when the authorities did their routine sweep of his cell, what they found has everybody's jaws on the floor. These weren't just random thoughts or doodles. Prosecutors are saying these were straight-up instructions to find dirt on his accusers and silence them for good. Can you even imagine? The same man who used to dominate Billboard charts is now reportedly plotting revenge on prison paper.
So there's a few things going on. First is the privilege issue. The judge will decide whether the documents are privileged or not. If they're not, they're going to go to the government. If the documents are not only not privileged, but they're evidence of witness tampering, then a few things can happen, all of which are bad for Sean Diddy Combs. First, of course, he could face obstruction of justice charges in a superseding indictment.
Let me spill this piping hot tea about these notes. They allegedly included some chilling directives like pay off witnesses and find everything on victim. The prosecutors aren't playing. They're saying this is straight up evidence of obstruction. But wait, it gets worse. Diddy supposedly made all these calls to his family members, pushing them to dig up dirt on his accusers. One prosecutor even claimed Diddy was telling his relatives to work with people outside his legal team to handle certain accusers. Y'all, this isn't just giving desperate, it's giving sinister.
Exactly. You're just like, it's there. I mean, it's not just there. It's everywhere. My news feed is dominated by it. Fox News, CNN, everyone. There's raids at Diddy's house.
Now, of course, Diddy's defense team is fighting back like their lives depend on it. They're calling the cell raid a complete violation of attorney-client privilege, saying those notes were private and meant for his legal team only. His lawyer, Mark Agnifilo, has been all over this, calling it an egregious overreach and accusing the prosecution of misconduct. According to him, virtually every single thing in these legal pads are matters he discusses with his attorneys. Chile, they're claiming it's all just legal strategy, not criminal plotting. But here's the million-dollar question that's got everybody talking. If these were just innocent legal notes, why do they read like a straight-up witness tampering checklist? You don't need a law degree to see how suspicious that looks.
At the courthouse in Lower Manhattan, the judge ordering the prosecution to turn over its findings from a jail cell raid, Diddy's jail cell, just yesterday. What were the contents of those raids?
Well, apparently, according to the defense, they're legal documents. The government's saying no, on the contrary, they're just some handwritten notes and a calendar.
The prosecution is not buying what Diddy's team is selling. Assistant U.S. Attorney Christy Slavic came for their necks during a recent hearing, making it crystal clear that a witness was paid off and finding dirt on two different victims is not a privilege. She's arguing that these notes show a pattern of obstruction, with Diddy allegedly trying to pull strings even from behind bars. And honey, this is where it gets even messier. According to Slavic, Diddy's actions aren't just about protecting himself, they're about controlling the whole narrative and silencing anyone who might expose him. The level of manipulation here is absolutely mind-boggling.
I think it's over.
You think it's over?
I think it's over for him as like a figure in entertainment.
Right. But do you think it's over as him as far as
jail?
like he gets a cell right next to R. Kelly?
I don't think so.
But hold up, y'all. We need to zoom out for a second. This isn't just about some scribbled prison notes or a few family phone calls. This is part of something so much bigger, a story that's been unfolding for months, if not years. What started as accusations of exploitation and abuse has spiraled into something that's beyond anyone's wildest imagination. The allegations paint this horrifying picture of systematic manipulation, where money and power were allegedly used like weapons to exploit and silence victims. And baby, the deeper you dig into this mess, the darker it gets.
That's what people were saying, and maybe everybody's a conspiracy theorist now, but that's what people are saying about the Diddy situation. Like when the feds rolled up, with the Hummers and shit, they're like, it wasn't about Diddy, it was about if there were tapes of powerful people there.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
They were the ones that called. They're like, I need to protect myself, so go in there with all the things and rip any tapes or any evidence.
Now, let me tell you about one of the most explosive pieces of evidence against Diddy. These recordings that were reportedly seized during raids on his properties. And honey, these aren't just your regular old recordings. They supposedly contain some damning footage of deeply disturbing behavior. Sources close to the investigation are saying these tapes were hidden away in safes and encrypted drives, suggesting Diddy went to extreme lengths to keep them secret. And why? Because if even half of what they're saying about these tapes is true, they could destroy him and possibly take down some other Hollywood elite with him.
Diddy was running some kind of Epstein-type deal where he was filming everybody, right?
That's the rumors, yeah. I don't know that there's any proof or anything other.
Chile, for years, there have been whispers about what really went down at Diddy's infamous gatherings. These weren't your typical celebrity house parties. They were lavish, exclusive, and according to some people, deeply disturbing. Former attendees have described them as anything but ordinary, with some saying they witnessed things that left them shook. And now that these tapes are reportedly in investigators' hands, those whispers are turning into screams. What exactly was Diddy hiding, and who else might go down with him?
Rumors are that Diddy was running some kind of Epstein-type deal where he was filming everybody, right?
That's the rumors, yeah. I don't know that there's any proof or anything other than that.
Meanwhile, Diddy's behavior behind bars is not helping his case. Beyond those notes and phone calls, prosecutors are saying he's been coordinating with his people to launch this whole PR campaign to sway public opinion. They're saying he even instructed his children to post these celebratory videos of him on social media, trying to make himself look more sympathetic. But here's the thing, honey. When you're facing allegations this serious, no amount of perfectly curated Instagram posts is going to change the facts. If anything, it just makes him look even more calculated.
There's people on both sides, right? There's the people on the right that are trying to nail the people that are on the left with this. There's people that are journalists that are trying to nail the people that were involved in this.
This is it, yeah.
And they've managed to keep that list from coming out, which shows you how powerful certain people are. That should show you a lot. That should be terrifying.
And then there's the heartbreaking story of Cassie Ventura, his former partner who's become the central figure in all this. Her lawsuit, which exposes years of alleged abuse and manipulation, has opened the floodgates for others to come forward. While everyone's praising Cassie's bravery for stepping into the spotlight, it's also put her right in the crosshairs of Diddy's alleged attempts to discredit and intimidate his accusers. Prosecutors are saying that Diddy is fixated on Cassie, using her as a scapegoat to deflect attention from his own actions. It's classic gaslighting, and it's as disturbing as it is predictable. What's really striking about all this is how many people supposedly knew or at least suspected what was going on, but chose to stay silent. Over the years, Diddy surrounded himself with powerful friends. We're talking A-list celebrities and influential business leaders. And while some have been running for the hills since these allegations dropped, others are staying suspiciously quiet. It really makes you wonder, how much did they know? And if they knew something, why didn't they say anything? The entertainment industry has this long history of protecting its own, but this case might finally be the one that changes everything.
Harry was hanging with Diddy.
I mean, everybody hung with Diddy. That's the other tricky thing. Like, Diddy hung out with everybody. And I've spoken to a bunch of people who are like, yo, great dude, like, always there for you, never asked for a single thing.
Till 1 a.m.
And then freak off.
Everybody says, get out of the house.
Yeah.
It's like the gremlins start eating after midnight.
Y'all, one thing is becoming crystal clear. This isn't just about Diddy anymore. These allegations are sending shockwaves through the entire entertainment industry, forcing a reckoning that's been a long time coming. For years, stories of exploitation and abuse have been swept under Hollywood's designer rugs, dismissed as just rumors or tabloid drama. But honey, in today's climate, where survivors are finding their voices and demanding accountability, those days are over. Diddy might be the one facing charges right now, but he's definitely not the only one under the microscope. The question on everyone's lips is, who's next?
If that's part of the indictment, that's somewhat like a blackmail. He was blackmailing people to be in the freak-offs. So that's federal. That could be that's a federal charge. He can't blackmail people to say, yo, listen here, you did it once and you're gonna do it again. That ain't gonna make it with the government or nobody.
Right now, Diddy's still sitting in custody after being denied bail for the third time. Why? Because they're saying he's a flight risk and a danger to witnesses. And while these legal battles are raging on, the whole world is watching, waiting to see how this mess unfolds. Will justice finally be served? Will the truth come out? Or will Diddy's wealth and influence let him slip through the cracks one more time? One thing's for sure, this drama is far from over. The cracks in Diddy's empire are getting wider by the day, and it's only a matter of time before the whole thing comes crashing down. And when it does collapse, it won't just be Diddy paying the price. It'll be the entire system that enabled him. The story keeps getting messier as more voices come forward, shining a spotlight on years of alleged abuse, manipulation, and control. It's like peeling an onion, chile. Each new layer stings worse than the last. While Diddy's legal team is fighting tooth and nail to discredit all this evidence piling up against him, the sheer number of accusations and lawsuits paints a picture that's almost impossible to ignore. And right at the center of it all is Cassie Ventura, the whistleblower who's become both a symbol of bravery and a target for Diddy's alleged attempts to silence her.
Yeah, they probably didn't see these notes, and they never will.
But if you're Diddy, don't you, want your notes back?
Yeah.
If you've spent so many hours, gathering, evidence for your side or, strategy or whatever, for me, I'd be like, oh no, please don't destroy, please return.
Cassie's lawsuit was the first domino to fall, and her story is as heartbreaking as it is infuriating. According to her claims, Diddy didn't just exploit her, he used his wealth and power to keep her under his control for more than a decade. This isn't just about some toxic relationship gone wrong, it's about a man who allegedly weaponized his influence to manipulate every aspect of her life, from controlling her finances to dictating who she could even talk to. Cassie's allegations paint this chilling portrait of life under Diddy's thumb. And while some might try to dismiss this as just another messy celebrity breakup, the details suggest something far more sinister.
Speak with impunity about the Illuminati because I know who you would have to be in order for what I'm saying to bother you, number one.
Right.
Number two, I know your big secret. I know that you're not the Illuminati, I am. So...
One of the most jaw-dropping accusations in Cassie's lawsuit is her claim that Diddy orchestrated these elaborate schemes to humiliate and intimidate her. When she tried to distance herself from him, he allegedly retaliated by targeting people close to her. There's even a claim that Diddy once made threats against rapper Kid Cudi, who Cassie briefly dated during a rough patch in their relationship. And not long after, Kid Cudi confirms Cassie's story that Diddy allegedly blew up his car. While Diddy's team has denied any involvement, Kid Cudi himself has reportedly confirmed this chilling incident, saying, "This is all true." It's the kind of detail that feels ripped straight from a Hollywood thriller. But for Cassie, this was her reality.
Everybody who tells the stories I saw her go upstairs and these dudes are right on the couch.
Yeah.
And then I go in this room and these guys are
yeah. And pros. Apparently he was getting male gigolos to girls.
Girls?
Yeah, that was one of the rumors, the
male
freak off. So he would
gigolos.
hire the professional to have with the girls, and I think he would watch allegedly.
But wait, y'all, the abuse wasn't just emotional, it was physical too. In one particularly disturbing incident detailed in her lawsuit, Cassie claims Diddy struck her so violently that she was bleeding, then hid her away in a hotel room so nobody would see her injuries. And this wasn't some one-time thing. Cassie describes this horrifying pattern of violence that had her living in constant fear. She says Diddy's staff were allegedly complicit too, covering up his actions. And while Cassie finally found the strength to escape, she says these scars, both physical and emotional, are something she'll carry for the rest of her life. Since filing her lawsuit, Cassie has faced relentless scrutiny and backlash. But baby, she has not backed down. Her courage to speak out has inspired others to come forward, creating this massive domino effect that's exposing what some are calling one of the biggest scandals in entertainment industry history. At least 4 additional lawsuits have been filed against Diddy in recent weeks, each one adding more weight to these growing allegations. And these aren't just anonymous claims either. Real people, some who were once part of Diddy's inner circle, are putting their names and faces out there to hold him accountable.
So Diddy, if you're just joining us here, was just arrested and taken into federal custody in New York tonight. Sources tell TMZ Homeland Security swooped into a Midtown hotel late Monday where Diddy was staying, and they arrested him.
One of the most shocking aspects of these lawsuits is how similar all the stories are. While each victim's experience is unique, there's this common thread of manipulation, control, and intimidation running through all of them. It's like Diddy had this carefully constructed system designed to keep his victims silent and compliant. And it wasn't just women who were allegedly targeted. There are claims that men were also subjected to coercion and humiliation. This isn't just about one man's alleged actions anymore. It's about this whole culture of silence and complicity that let it continue for years.
Responsibility for what he did as an individual. Sean is the one who pulled that gun out. Sean is the one who shot. So he has to take responsibility for that. He put that gun back in his...
What's even more disturbing is how Diddy's wealth and influence supposedly played into all this. For decades, he was seen as untouchable, this titan of the music industry whose success made him seem immune to any consequences. He threw these lavish parties attended by the biggest names in Hollywood, hosted charity events that painted him as this amazing philanthropist, and built this image of success that everyone admired. But behind the scenes, according to these allegations, he was using all that power not to lift others up, but to control and exploit them.
And that has nothing to do with him having this baby or him having this side girl for almost 15 years.
Now, let's talk about these parties. Once seen as these glamorous, exclusive events, they're now being described by former attendees as chaotic and deeply disturbing. Witnesses are claiming these gatherings often spiraled into something far darker, with a lot of girls allegedly being pressured into situations they didn't consent to. And while Diddy's team is trying to dismiss these accounts as baseless rumors, the sheer number of people coming forward suggests there's way more to these stories than meets the eye.
I have information that he was arrested tonight at a Manhattan hotel. He is currently being processed. I heard from his attorney they are still maintaining his innocence. They said that in anticipation of these charges that Diddy relocated.
That's it. If it is privilege, of course they won't. But if it really is what the prosecution says that has nothing to do with the case, or even worse, it's actually evidence of witness tampering, because we all know the attorney-client privilege, there's a crime fraud exception. You can't use your lawyer to perpetuate a future or continuing fraud or crime. So if the documents are what the government says they are, they're going to get them again. And again, it's just going to be a matter of days, because I don't expect...
But let's not forget what this is really about. The victims who are finally finding their voices after years of silence. These brave individuals suffered in isolation, thinking nobody would believe them. Now, thanks to Cassie's courage, they're stepping forward and demanding justice. Diddy's response? Completely defensive. He released this statement saying, "Enough is enough. For the last couple of weeks, I have sat silently and watched people try to assassinate my character, destroy my reputation, and my legacy." But honey, if these accusations are so false, why did he settle Cassie's lawsuit faster than a New York Minute?
He doesn't kind of buy what the prosecution's selling. He thinks they've looked at the notes.
Yeah.
He thinks that they're cheating.
I mean, I would think that too.
But apparently, what happened is commonplace.
It sounded crazy, like I said before. They said that 2,300 people reached out to the law firm, and out of the 2,300 people, I guess they decided to go with just a little over 100. Which seems like it's they just put out the number and everybody's calling to see if they can get a check.
It's insane. It's insane. Now, again, he did say that nothing has been filed yet, because he says he wants to make sure that they do their due diligence and get this right.
So what's next? Will more victims speak up? Will those seized tapes reveal even more shocking truths? And most importantly, will justice finally be served? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure. This story is far from over. As more details emerge, the spotlight on Diddy and the industry that enabled him will only get brighter. Share your thoughts and theories in the comments below. Do you think Diddy's downfall is inevitable, or will he somehow dodge justice again? And who else in Hollywood might get caught up in this mess as more evidence comes to light? Until next time, stay informed and stay curious. Goodbye. Curious. Goodbye. Curious.